So today I really want to answer the question for you of what does skipping breakfast actually do to your body? There is so much conflicting information about even breakfast out there. So I want to talk about the specifics today of what the process is in your body, what actually happens when we're skipping breakfast. And spoiler alert, it's nothing great, but I want to dive into this today so that you fully understand what's happening when you make that choice and how to make a better choice to fully support your body's metabolism, your hormone production, your insulin sensitivity, energy, mood, etc. So let's dive right in. First thing I want to do is ask you a question, and it's really to help you understand how important this can be for setting up your whole day. So have you ever really had one of those mornings where it feels like the whole day is already spiraling out of control? So it really is like, okay, I'm rushing right away in the morning. I'm just grabbing a cup of coffee because I have too much to do. I got to get everything ready and I'm out the door. And maybe like an hour or two goes by and you feel fine, honestly, and maybe even a little bit more productive. Like energy's amped up and you're in go mode. But then after about a couple of hours, you start to get really moody, angry, energy starts to crash. And what we end up doing is reaching for another cup of coffee, usually to keep us going. And by 3 p.m., we're done. We're crashing. We're craving sugar. We want to take a nap. We're desperate for something to help us survive the last hours of our day. This is a really common story I see time and time again. And I want to tell you a little bit about one of our clients, Julie, to kind of illustrate how this really does impact overall health. So she's a busy mom. She had a really high demanding job. And for years, she really struggled with exhaustion, sugar cravings. But really those sugar cravings have led to a lot of stubborn weight gain. She's really uncomfortable in her own body. And then also just like dreaded mid-afternoon crashes where at 4 p.m. she feels like she has to take a nap, and she can't even be there for her family fully at that afternoon, evening period of time when everyone's together, and it should be a really great time to spend together as a family. So she really thought she was doing everything right. She was even trying to lose weight by eating less, meaning she was skipping breakfast, just going straight to that coffee or eating something really light like toast or like a little bit of toast and avocado or something just really small to help her get to her afternoon. But by mid-afternoon, she's wiped out. She's reaching for whatever sugar, caffeine, something quick that's easy for her and available for her so she can keep going. So the truth is about all this is that chaos starts even long before breakfast. Okay, when you're skipping meals consistently, and even when you're not waking up hungry in the morning, that's a really big red flag that something's off in your body. That's your body really telling you that something deeper is happening with your metabolism, and even more specifically, your hunger hormones. So leptin and ghrelin, these are your two hunger hormones, and I want to talk about these today because they're super important for overall metabolic function and things like your estrogen, your hormone, reproductive hormone production, and thyroid production. So we're going to dive into leptin and ghrelin in just a minute because they are so important for you to understand. But at first, I just want to talk about metabolism and its role in your overall hormone regulation, because when we're talking about things like energy crashes, stubborn weight gain, hair loss, feeling bloated or just not great in your own body, and you're like, whoa, what is happening? Am I just getting older? I don't like this. We're really talking about overall hormone regulation and metabolism at the root. So metabolism, this is the process by which your body converts your food into energy. So it's absolutely crucial for maintaining energy levels, for supporting cellular repair, for managing bodily functions like digestion, hormone production, temperature regulation. Metabolism is responsible for everything. It also directly influences how your body processes and responds to the food you eat, particularly glucose, so sugar, and fats. So when we're skipping meals, especially when we're skipping meals like breakfast, especially breakfast, your body's metabolism slows down to conserve energy. Now we are not giving it fuel. So, because it's all about how we convert our food to energy for all the functions that our body has to do. So when we're not giving it that fuel, especially first thing in the morning, of course the body's going to go, okay, I have limited reserves. I'm going to conserve my resources, my energy, and I'm not going to burn as many calories, but I'm also not going to send energy to things like reproductive hormones because we don't have the resources to have a baby, okay? Because that's our main reproductive purpose, right? We don't have the resources to grow hair or truly like detox the body from environmental exposure. So our, skin health and things and cellular regeneration of the skin isn't really important, okay? Our body goes into a conservation mode and that metabolic function slows down. So this not only, of course, impacts hormone production, but when you start to think about stubborn weight and why it's like, why can I not even eat the same amount that I was eating last year? Why do I have to starve myself even more to get any sort of weight loss? It's because your metabolic function has slowed. You're just not expending the energy that you once were. Maybe you're even laughing less or using your hands less to talk. That's all your metabolic function. So when you start to do this over time, chronically meal skipping, we get this metabolic dysregulation, and it makes it really hard for your body to manage insulin, cortisol, and other key hormones. So you start to see how this breakfast, something so simple as breakfast, but over time skipping it really does have a greater impact on your overall body. Okay, I want to jump back just a minute and talk about specifically your hunger hormones. So things like your leptin and your ghrelin, because these are probably hormones you've never heard before, but they're so important for this overall metabolic function that we're talking about. So your leptin, hormones like leptin, and ghrelin, they have significant roles in controlling your appetite and your energy, your overall energy balance. So leptin, this is produced by your fat cells. It actually signals the brain that you're full, that you have sufficient energy stored on your body for all those metabolic functions that I mentioned. But when you start to skip breakfast or restrict your food intake, your leptin levels become imbalanced. So it makes it really hard for the brain to recognize when you're full. Okay, this can lead to overeating later in the day. It leads to weight gain, and it can also lead to metabolic slowdowns. Ghrelin, on the other hand, is a hormone that stimulates your hunger. So when you don't eat regularly, your body will start to produce more and more ghrelin, which intensifies feelings of hunger. So this high level of ghrelin, it not only can increase appetite, but also contributes to erratic blood sugar levels, increased cortisol production. It also makes it really, really hard to feel fully satisfied after a meal. Okay, this kind of contributes to snacking throughout the day. Again, that uncomfortable weight gain. And then also we have leptin on the other hand, that's all out of balance. So when we're waking up in the morning, we're not hungry, and all of our caloric intake really gets shifted to later in the day where we never fully feel satisfied and our energy still feels completely burnt out. This matters. These two hormones matter so much because when they're out of sync like this, it doesn't just affect appetite. It messes with your thyroid. It messes with other key hormones too, which then lead to these mood swings, hair loss, weight gain. And skipping breakfast is like this first core decision that we make in our day. And it's like we're skipping the fuel that your body actually needs to kickstart all of these good metabolic processes for the day. So how do these things being out of sync really impact your reproductive and thyroid hormones? So when we're skipping meals and we're disrupting these two hunger hormones, they have great impact on reproduction and thyroid. Starting with thyroid hormones. So T3 and T4, these are two thyroid hormones, and they actually regulate your metabolism and energy use. So when your blood sugar levels drop due to lack of food, because that's what happens when we skip meals, our blood sugar starts to drop, cortisol is released in order to maintain blood sugar levels. That's a survival mechanism, but your thyroid function also slows down when we get into these big blood sugar drops. So when thyroid function slows down, this causes oftentimes weight gain, fatigue, and can affect your menstrual cycle and your reproductive hormone function. So your reproductive hormones like estrogen, progesterone, they're highly sensitive to fluctuations in blood sugar and cortisol. They are very stress responsive. So these hormones, these reproductive hormones, they're just responding to stress in the body. And when low blood sugar levels happen, they can throw off that delicate balance between these hormones. So that's what causes irregular periods, PMS, mood swings, and even on the larger scale, things like infertility. So leptin plays this really, really important role in signaling the body that there's enough energy for these reproductive processes. So when leptin is low due to poor nutrition, fasting, skipping meals, and that's that really important balance and between leptin and ghrelin are out of sync, the body really downregulates these reproductive functions as a survival mechanism. Because again, on a basic level, your body's metabolic processes have slowed down to conserve that energy, and they're not going towards this reproductive hormone, the reproductive hormone production. Okay, so again, so important, skipping breakfast, and this is kind of this cascade that's happening in the body. Now, when you skip breakfast, not only does it trigger this blood sugar drop, it also forces your body to rely on stress hormones like cortisol to keep you going. Your cortisol levels naturally rise in the morning to help wake you up, but without food right away to regulate your blood sugar, because cortisol is telling your body to release glucose into the blood for energy. So without that food in the morning to help regulate that process, cortisol stays elevated. This keeps your body in a fight or flight mode. That fight or flight mode is what's going to cause mood swings, anxiety, more sugar cravings, more weight gain, more reproductive hormone and metabolic hormone downregulation. Over time, that roller coaster of stress hormones damages all of this metabolic process. So it's really important. Again, just a simple act of eating breakfast can really manage metabolic function in these metabolic processes overall. So again, cortisol, often referred to as the main stress hormone. You do have other stress hormones, but just to speak to cortisol, it plays that huge role in blood sugar regulation. So it helps maintain steady blood sugar levels between meals. It does promote the release of glucose from stored carbs, fats, proteins, but when it's chronically elevated, due to stress or due to skipping meals, it leads to constant blood sugar fluctuations, which would promote that fat storage, particularly around the midsection, and contribute to more insulin resistance. So again, when you skip meals, cortisol will increase to maintain energy levels, causing spikes and crashes in your blood sugar. And this can make you more prone to the cravings, the mood swings, the energy dips, and it worsens your insulin resistance over time. It also will disrupt sleep patterns, which will lead to more stress and inflammation in the body, which further impairs your ability to manage glucose efficiently. Again, so important. So We can regulate. What's the solution here? Now, we could go into just being like, great, eat breakfast, see you later. But let's get just a little bit more specific. So eating a balanced breakfast that's full of nutrient density is the best thing you can do in your routine for your health. And if it's the one thing you change, it's going to have a major impact on this cascade of hormone response that's happening in the body. So you can regulate your hunger hormones, your cortisol, your blood sugar, just by eating this nutrient-dense breakfast, making sure your main focus is on animal protein, good source of animal protein, and complex carbs that provide that steady source of energy. They'll keep your blood sugar stable and then will help you reduce this excess cortisol levels. So this is exactly, if you think back to Sarah now, this is exactly what we did for her. So we actually focused on resetting her metabolism by fueling her body right away at the start of the day. Now with Sarah, she had been doing this for so long, she wasn't exactly hungry first thing in the morning, which is very typical. You have two choices, and this is also where your body, you know your body better than anyone else. And there is personalization around this, okay? It's not just about eating the same meal as Sarah ate, but it's really about figuring out and tuning into what your body needs. But the best two ways to go about starting to reset your metabolic function is A, we can choose to eat something small in the morning, especially if you're not hungry. Eat something small that is protein packed. Okay, this could be something like hard-boiled egg, a few bites of Greek yogurt, a piece of chicken sausage. Okay, thinking animal protein first thing in the morning, some cottage cheese. Okay, these are all great options. Take a few bites, allow your body to just jumpstart that metabolic process, and then when you're hungry, this is key. When your body signals that it is hunger, no matter what time of the morning it is, you respond fully with a protein-rich meal with complex carbohydrates and eat to full satiety, meaning you are full, okay? You eat until your body says, nope, I'm done eating. This will help to foster that synchronicity between your leptin and your ghrelin, okay? So that is one option. The other option is that if you're just busy and you're blowing through your mornings and grabbing a cup of coffee, or you're skipping breakfast on purpose, even though you're hungry, just dive right into a protein-focused breakfast within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. And again, same rules apply. Animal protein, lots of fiber through complex carbs, and eat till full satiety. Okay, so with Sarah, we started small. We did a small little meal, and then we trained her to respond to her hunger cues fully. And over time, her metabolism reset. She started to wake up really hungry, getting that full nutrient-dense meal in right away in the morning. And this didn't just balance her blood sugar, it helped restore her energy levels throughout the day. So she was like, I don't really even need coffee anymore. I don't have the cravings mid-afternoon. I don't have that slump. And in honestly just a few weeks, she didn't feel like she was surviving her day anymore. So she was noticing clear mental clarity. She had energy back. She even started to notice a little bit of weight loss and movement in her weight loss a few months later, when her metabolism really started to turn and burn through more calories and really respond optimally through even more regulation and focus on her blood sugar. So it really started right here with a proper nutrient dense breakfast. So again, this is what you decide to do. You have your two options. Explore, experiment, see what feels right for your body. But the idea is to reset your metabolism and reset those two hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, okay? So we're focusing on animal protein and complex carbohydrates. So these are whole food carbs, potatoes, sweet potatoes, berries, fruit, dairy, so things like cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese, those are all great sources of carbs and protein. Honestly, you're getting them both in. Things like veggies are great first thing in the morning. They have lots of fiber too that will help to satiate you. So think whole food carbs, lots of protein, and that's how you want to respond to your hunger cues. And this will give your body the nutrients that it needs to fuel your metabolism, keep you energized throughout your day. So I hope this helps to explain exactly what happens in your body when you're skipping breakfast, and that it's not just this harmless thing or this quirky behavior thing that we do, okay? It is really important that we set our body up for success first thing in the morning. So I'm curious, think about this. What do your breakfast habits actually look like? Are you supporting your energy? Is it sending you into a crash later in the day? Comment below and let us know what's happening, what breakfast changes you're actually looking to make. And then don't forget to subscribe for more tips on balancing blood sugar, boosting your metabolism, hormone production, all of those great things. So I will see you next time.